Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a DIY Valentine's Day paper flower medium size. This one's a rose. You're going to use some cardstock. This is 65-pound cardstock. I got it for $3.47 from Walmart in a pack. You're going to need something to burnish. This is a jumbo popsicle stick from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need your gluing device as well as your cutting device. So I'm sorry the beginning of this video got a little corrupted, but all I did was create the shape of the flower, and here I have them measured. I just took a piece of scrap paper, folded it in half, and created this flower petal. I got inspired from Pinterest and YouTube, and I was asked to create these paper flowers, and when I did, and I found out that they were so easy and so beautiful, I thought they would make great Valentine's Day decor, and I wanted to share it with you. So we're going to use 9 sheets of the light yellow paper from the pack, and we're going to take we're going to need 8 of the small petals, 12 of the medium petals, and 6 of the large petals. And how we're going to achieve that is we're going to take 3 pieces of paper folded in half to create the large petals. We're going to take 2 pieces of paper and fold them in fourths to get the 4 little petal pieces of paper, and then we're going to take the remaining pieces of paper, the remaining 4 pieces of paper, and we're going to trace 3 of the medium petals on there. So I showed you in the beginning, if you saw the picture of the 3 petals drawn on there, that's how I did it, just to fit. But you know, if you guys listen, do whatever you want, whatever color, whatever sizes. If you do smaller flowers, if you're looking to achieve a smaller flower, you don't need quite as much paper. If you want to make a much bigger flower, you may need some more. So this shape is sort of like a heart with a little tail on the bottom, and the tail is important. I did cut some of my tails too short, which I didn't realize until as I was making them, because when I saw all of the instructions for these, nobody mentioned how long you needed to make your tails. But here are the 4 smallest ones. And what I did was I took some scrap paper and I made a shape from the smallest one. Then I put it on a scrap piece of paper and I made it about a 1/4 inch bigger around. And then I took the medium one and I put it on a bigger piece of paper and I made it a 1/4 inch around before I cut anything, because I wanted to make sure I had enough paper to do all that. Okay, and then I cut them all out. So the next thing you want to do is you want to start curling the edges. And what I've decided to use a variety of different things. The woman who taught this video on YouTube uses a bone folder, but you know, if you don't have a bone folder, which I don't, I wanted to be able to show you some other alternatives. So this is a small dowel from the Dollar Tree. I found that the curve of it was really nice size for the small petals, and you want to just curl these back. So the woman who taught this on YouTube had a one-sided pearlesque paper, which was pearly on one side, and you want to make sure that that you curl in towards the plain side, okay, to put it mildly. So now you're going to take pairs of the petals and you're going to glue the very ends, and then you're going to take the two of them and fold them in on each other. So you want to hug to make the center of the flower. And I'm gluing just a little bit on the edge of each petal. You want to be careful that none of the glue comes out. Then I've put glue down in the middle of the next set, and I've folded them over in the opposite direction. And it's important that you want to just keep turning your petals. You know, you want to offset them basically. So if these 2 go north and south, these 2 go east and west, and vice versa. And with the small petals, you're going to do all 8, and all 8 are just going to hug around the center. And this is just to make the center of the rose. Okay, so if you see that, it looks like the rose center, and all of the petals are coming around it. So now we're going to move on to the medium petals. And how we're going to do that is we're going to curl all of their edges again, same way. We're going to curl them back towards what would be the plain side if that was how you were working it. And instead of the curved edges going in towards the flower like they did for the center, this time they're going to go out. They're going to open up and fan backwards. So this time I've decided to go ahead and use my scissor. My scissor was nice and long, and actually my scissor did really well. And in hindsight, I would like to go back and do all of my flowers over with my scissor as my burnisher because it really did work really well. I have a nice long blade on this scissor, and just be careful that you don't make any sharp edges on the petals. That's really the only thing I say be mindful of. So I'm curling all of the medium ones, and I'm also going to curl the big ones at the same time. The reason I'm going to do that is just to not have to keep going back after I glue to go back and after I glue. So I'm teaching you the setup that the person on YouTube taught me, this one, or how she did it. But I think for the next time I do a rose like this, I'm going to offset the petals, not just in a cross pattern. I'm going to do them around in like in a hexagon with 6. And you'll see what I mean here in a second. The last 6 petals will go in a hexagon pattern, but the first, the center 12, she instructed us to just go across from each other and across from each other, which that is easy. So don't get me wrong, that is easy. I just think more of the authentic look of the flower, I think I would probably go in 6 from now on. So I've turned this center upside down and I put a little glue on each side, put the tabs on, and then put a little glue on the edge of each petal and then just give it a hug. Now be careful that none of the glue squeezes out at you. That's why you just want to use a little. And now I'm gluing on the opposite direction. Okay, and then hold it down. And little glue on each edge of each petal and on each edge of each petal. And as you fold it up, you want to make sure you keep your edges all curled down still. Okay, if they start to get unruly on you. And it's really, really just about hugging these. It really is. I mean, you glue the little tabs on. You glue down the edges of your petals and you just give your flower a little hug. You don't want to do it too tight because you don't want to make, flatten your petals out. And like I said, this is very light and it's very easy. One of the women did this with like white glue, and I think that just takes a very long time, and I don't have the patience for that. But if you were doing it with youngsters, that might be something to consider, or a low temp glue gun. You just have to move fast with a low temp glue gun because on paper, low temp glue really dries quickly, or cools off quickly, I should say. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to repeat with all the medium flowers, but you can see it's starting to create a pattern, and I wasn't at the end. I was saying I wasn't really happy with it. I think I'm going to rotate around 6 next time, like in a hexagon shape. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong, I love it. It's just I think that's where I'm going to go with it next. All right, and then I think these are the last 2 medium ones. And you'll see that they also don't come up as much as they do in the beginning, which is natural. You want the center of the flower to be up a little bit more than the petals, and the petals will lay flat back. So now I'm going to go in the hexagon shape. I'm going on the 4 corners of that square that was created by the center. And I'm doing the same thing with the hugging. This time I decided to turn it over because I couldn't get my hands like that. Every time I hugged the flower, it pushed the flower up. So I turned it upside down and leaned it against the table. And now I'm going across from there and then across from there. And I decided to do all of these at the same time because I thought, hey, heck, however it lays, I'll hug them all at the same time. And had to push the center of the flower up against my chin because I needed 3 hands. And again, I decided, let me just turn it upside down. I put my hand up against the center and my other hand around the base of the bowl just till it till it cooled. I'm sorry. And then I noticed as it cooled, I had some missed spots, or I had some glue that cooled before I pushed the flower up. But then you go ahead and adjust your petals any way you want. I don't know about you guys, but I just think these are so pretty. And I can't believe it took me to 40. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be 48. I can't believe it took me 47 years to even know something like this existed and to learn how to make it. So now I'm going to create leaves for this one. I've decided to do them with half sheets of paper. Took 1 half sheet of green, and I decided to make these like the rose ones with the step. And I was trying to come up with a pattern that I liked. I couldn't really. So I just did like a curve and a cut through and a curve and a cut through and a curve. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. And then I also wanted to show you I took the other one and I took my pinking shear and I cut it with my pinking shear just to get that edge. If you have all of these great scissors that, you know, don't do all the different shapes, you might have a shape that's just a scissor that's just perfect for this. And then I just did the other one just a tiny bit different. Like I said, I took the pinking shear to show you guys. If you just want the easy way out, the little bumps are a lot closer together than it really would be for the size of this flower. So that's what it looks like. But of course, I didn't leave it. I, of course, fixed it. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the veins, which I'm just realizing now I am doing backwards. I should be doing the veins on the inside of the leaf. Oh my gosh, you're probably watching this tutorial and the other one before me and realizing, Jeri, what are you doing? Well, there you go. So I've cut the middle up, I cut it 2 inches up in each of these petals, and I folded them over like I did with the leaves, with the petals in the previous tutorial, so that they hug the rose, because rose leaves tend to hug the rose. And I've glued them across from each other this time instead of offsetting one. And then once this dries, we're going to go ahead and create a hanger. And like I mentioned yesterday, you want to be mindful of where you set your hanger so that your flower doesn't hang down too low. And there it is. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in making all or one of these or none of these. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, take care. God bless. See you next time. Bye.